Hi guys, today we're going to talk about broody hens and how to get your hens to become broody, how to break them from being broody, and how to care for them while they're broody, as well as what to expect when your hens go broody. So first I want to talk about how you can get your hens to go broody, and one of the best ways is to introduce chicks to the farm. For some reason, every time we bring chicks onto the farm, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, our hens want to go broody. They want to have babies. Also, you can let your eggs compile in your nesting box. They will not go broody if there's not enough eggs to sit on. Some hens aren't as picky and they'll sit on one egg, but if you have a clutch of 12 eggs sitting in a nesting box for a few days, they're going to sit on them. Someone's bound to sit on them, and that has worked for me so well. But now several of my hens have been broody for several years, so I don't really have to do anything to trigger their broodiness at all. Most of the time when you buy chicks from large hatcheries, the broodiness is kind of bred out of them. That's what a lot of people claim, but I don't find that to be true because I have plenty of chickens from hatcheries and it's really easy to get them to go broody. They still have that instinct. They're born with that instinct. And you may have some chickens that will never go broody, but in my experience, they all pretty much eventually go broody if they're given the opportunity. One thing I have noticed is my broody hens that do hatch out chicks successfully, when those chicks grow up, they tend to go broody within their first year. Now, if you have a hen that's gone broody and you don't want her to be broody, or you just don't have a rooster on your farm so she won't be able to hatch the eggs, my best advice is to remove all the eggs from the nesting box daily and kick her out of the coop until she breaks. If you're not able to keep her away from her nesting box, you're just going to have to wait it out. She may sit on air. She may be that stubborn, so you'll just have to wait it out and she'll eventually give up. Now I'd like to talk about what to expect when a hen goes broody, and there's several things that happen. One is they will only poop once a day, and so they'll leave their nesting box probably just once a day to eat and drink, and at that same time they will poop, and they will have a very large poop. We're talking like the size of dog poop. However, in rare instances, you may have a hen that just sticks her butt outside the nesting box and poops as she needs to, so she may not have that one large poop. And then, unfortunately, some younger hens will actually poop in their nesting box. And if they do that, then it's a good idea to not let them hatch a clutch. Just means that they're a little too young and they just don't know what they're doing, but they will eventually learn not to do that. One thing you don't want to do is keep food in the nesting box, food or water. You don't want it on the edge of the nesting box. You don't want it in the nesting box because it's really important for the hen to leave her nesting box once a day. And it's important because they need, one, the exercise, but also they need to be able to socialize with the rest of the flock so that the flock doesn't forget about them. Because sometimes the hens will go broody and they're kind of hidden away and the entire flock forgets about them. And then when their chicks hatch and they start to go back into the flock, they kind of start to try and do the pecking order all over again, and they may fight with other hens or the hens might attack them. So you don't want that to happen, and that's kind of rare, but it does happen quite a bit, especially when they're tucked away and they're kind of out of sight. And this is also why you don't want to separate them from your flock. Also, I want to mention that when your hen does leave her nesting box to get food and water, please don't go and get her and put her back in her nesting box, even if she's just running around. She can be off of those eggs for up to an hour and do her thing, and they will be totally fine. But if you take her and you put her back in that nesting box, she's going to get really unhealthy because she's not getting enough food and water, she's not foraging, and she's not getting exercise during this time. Now, something you probably already know is that your hens are still going to fight over that nesting box. So if your broody hen is in a nesting box that everyone else wants, guess what? They're going to fight over it, and they're going to try to get in that box with her and lay in the nesting box even though she's sitting in there. So what I like to do is I will mark the eggs with a Sharpie, and I'll draw a circle all the way around the eggs so I can see the marking from every angle, and that will tell me which eggs were the original clutch and which were just laid by other hens. And then every day I'll go in there and I'll check the clutch and I'll remove the new eggs. These two are now fighting over this nesting box. And Charlotte's the one that's already broody, so she's trying to steal her clutch now. You might also notice that some of your other hens go broody and try to steal clutches. This is really common and kind of frustrating. So I like to keep the same hen on the same clutch because I feel like they've done all that work and it's kind of sad when someone else comes in and kicks them out and steals them. So I will kick out the hen that tries to steal the clutch. If the hen that's trying to steal is super adamant, I'll just give her her own clutch and let her sit. And I will say that when a hen wants to go broody, they are stubborn. If you're looking for a really great breed that tends to go broody a lot, I highly recommend Silkies. If you have Silkies, you'll never need an incubator because they always want to hatch a clutch. Because they're a smaller breed, they're kind of in between a bantam and a standard chicken. They can't sit on as many eggs, but I've had my Silkies sit on as much as 11 to 12 eggs. This Partridge Silky that you see down here with her chicks at the bottom, she was a breeder Silky for several years when I rescued her, and she was never allowed to hatch a clutch. And the breeder said that she was his meanest hen because every time he tried to get her eggs, she would get so mad at him and attack him. And so he wanted to get rid of her, so I took her in, and the first thing I did was I let her hatch a clutch, and she was so happy. And you guys, every time I incubated eggs, at one time I had, I think, 50 chicks hatch, and I gave them all to her, and she adopted them, and she just lived her life to the fullest, raising chicks for me for the longest time, and her name was Wistreet, and I really miss this hen. She is by far one of my favorite hens. Another breed that I would recommend if you're looking to have a hen that hatches really large clutches is a giant cochin, and those tend to go broody within their second year. At least that's been my experience, and they can sit on 20 eggs. It's amazing, and that's what you've seen in my previous videos, my 2 giant cochin hens sitting on clutches. Another breed that I would highly recommend that is a really good mama chicken are black sex links or black beauty chickens. They do tend to go broody once a year usually. And then I also like Americanas. So what you see on the left is one of my black beauties, and on the right is an Americana. Both those breeds are really great moms. The Americanas are less likely to go broody, but they can. So I really like them because they are fierce moms, that they will fight for their chicks and take really good care of them. Another tip I'd like to share is if you do have broody hens, to have a dust bath nearby. You can take an old tire and fill it up with sand. That's perfect for chickens because when they're sitting for this long period of time, they tend to get a little unhealthy and they'll get mites and lice, and you want to make sure that they're able to dust bathe so that they can get rid of all of that and prevent an infestation. As far as how many eggs to let your chickens sit on, it really depends on the size of your chicken. I like to say a good round number is 12 for any breed, but like I said earlier, I do have larger breeds that can handle up to 20 eggs. If you notice there's a bunch of feathers in a nesting box like this, that means you have a hen that's about to go broody. So chances are, if you let some eggs pile up in that nesting box, that hen that is building up her feathers in her nest will sit on those. On our farm, we incubate a bunch of our eggs, but if our hens want to go broody, we let them go broody. We don't have any issues with that. The only time that we don't want them to go broody is if we're low on eggs, which is never. So they go broody whenever they want, and it's just magical to see them raise their own chicks. And a lot of the times, they will adopt chicks that we hatch from the incubator if we hatch around the same time that they're hatching eggs. And we do have a video on that, by the way. I'll link it below. And it will show you how to introduce new chicks to a mama hen that already has chicks. It's really easy. Also, even though hens typically will go broody during the warmer times of year, they can go broody in the fall and the winter. In fact, this clip right here is in the middle of winter because this hen decided she wanted to hatch a clutch in late fall. So they can go broody at any time as long as the conditions are right. It's totally up to their discretion. Once your hen has hatched her clutch, it's totally up to you to decide whether or not you want to separate them or keep them with the rest of your flock. We choose to keep them with the rest of the flock because it just seems natural that way, and we've never had issues with our chickens trampling chicks or killing chicks or anything like that. In fact, the roosters are the sweetest with the chicks. They will teach them how to eat and drink right away as soon as they're introduced. It's so, so cute. The rest of the hens, you might notice them pecking at the chicks and just kind of keeping them at line or keeping them in line. If you notice them pecking once or twice and the chick screaming, it's not a big deal. If they're incessantly pecking at a chick, then obviously you're going to want to separate them, but that's super rare. Once the chicks reach about 4 to 6 weeks in age, the mama hen will start weaning them off and kind of kicking them out of the hen house, so to speak, because it's time for them to be on their own. And she may even try to go broody again. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you try hatching some chicks or letting your hens go broody, because it is so magical and it's one of our favorite parts of keeping chickens. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. We try to post a video every day. See you tomorrow.